Hello, everyone. Welcome back to RYGR Sports. My name is Logan.
And my name is Yash.
And on today's episode, we're going to be previewing the NBA playoffs. The bracket will be finalized tomorrow as the play-in tournament does come to an end. There's still two spots up for grabs between Orlando and Charlotte and Phoenix and Golden State. But however, in this video, we're going to be going over each series in the first round and then going from there and, letting you guys know our predictions for this year's bracket. I mean, personally, for me, I don't necessarily pay too much attention to regular season NBA. I'll obviously look at all the games that are happening on a daily basis, but usually come playoff time is where I actually start watching every single game, like in the playoffs. So, um, yeah, in this video, we're just going to be going over who we think is going to win each series, going over key players and every insight such as those. So, the first series that we're going to be going over is going to be the OKC Thunder and the winner of the Suns and the Warriors game. Um, Last night was a crazy game between the Warriors and the Clippers. I pretty much thought the Clippers were going to pull away with that one, and here comes Steph Curry doing what he's done his entire career, and he scores 34, and the Warriors come back and win late, which was super entertaining game to watch. Regarding this final playing game between the Suns and the Warriors, I'm going to take Golden State. I think they have the best player on the court. And Phoenix did not look good against Portland. They definitely should have won that game in the fourth quarter, and they completely collapsed late in that one. So I think Steph Curry has another big game and sends the Suns home. However, when it comes to OKC and Golden State, I don't think this is close at all. I'm going to take the Thunder in four. Um, I just, outside of Steph Curry, I don't see another player on this Warriors team really making an impact in that series. I mean, I know Kristaps Porzingis had a great game last night, but OKC is just a different animal. I mean, I think he'll probably get clamped by Chet Holmgren and all the players, all the great defensive players they have on that team. And this OKC team is just, they're the best of the best in the NBA. And obviously they have the MVP and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And I think it's just going to be too much for the Warriors. But, credit to Golden State. I didn't think they'd get this far because they were the 10 seed for a while. So, I got to give them credit. I believe they probably did finish as the 10 seed, if I'm not wrong. So, yeah, the road's going to come to an end here for Golden State. And I'm not really sure what they do in the off season, but I will say as long as Steph Curry's on that team, they definitely have a shot to win a game or maybe even two games. But, I would say winning a game in that series is probably their ceiling. But give me the Thunder in four. I just think they're too overly talented and are going to cause a lot of problems for that Golden State offense.
Yeah, I do agree with you here. I don't think it matters on who the Suns or the Warriors make it. I think it's basically over for them. I do think that the if the Warriors do make it, they will take one game at home. Um, I just feel like when you have like a player of Steph Curry's caliber, you generally end up taking a game. I know, you kind of go back and you kind of look throughout history if there's just a really, really good team, and then there's some superstar solo player. Sometimes they get swept. Obviously, we know LeBron got swept against the KD Warriors. Um, I do think that Warriors team was better than the Thunder team. I don't think that Steph Curry at this day and age is as good as LeBron James is. So I don't think he can take more than a game at max. I'm hoping he proves me wrong. I'd love to see like a vintage Steph Curry series. I mean, if the Suns or Warriors, I I, I mean, there's like a 1% chance, but if they end up winning that series, we have to kind of reevaluate the GOAT debate if Steph Curry is able to kind of win this series. But moving on to my uh, favorite series this week, I'm gonna go Lakers Rockets. Now, Logan here is a Rockets fan. I'm a LeBron fan, so I kind of move around where he does. Um, I really, really hope that LeBron is kind of able to get it to a game six because Luca and Reeves would be coming back May 1st. I don't think that's going to happen. That being said, I don't think the Rockets got anybody who can guard LeBron James, um, like well for an entire game. Now the only concerning part is how DeAndre Ayton plays. If DeAndre Ayton plays like he played in that one season in Phoenix, I think the Lakers got the series. If DeAndre Ayton plays like he's been playing the last month, I think the Lakers got the series. If DeAndre Ayton plays lazy, the Lakers are getting swept. So I think this series is kind of based on how DeAndre Ayton and how uh, Luke Kennard can both perform. LeBron's going to give you his 30 points, his 8, 9 rebounds, his 10, 11 assists. Same thing on the other end. KD will give you 30, 35 a game. Obviously, KD doesn't really get his assists and rebounds like LeBron James does, but he is obviously a little bit more efficient than LeBron is. Only thing that I have with KD is he's never really been able to hold on to the ball that well, especially under pressure. Especially this season. In his prime, it was a little different, but if you watch how the Lakers beat the Rockets in the last two games in the season, they put a lot of pressure on KD as soon as he got the ball, and it forced a lot of turnovers. I mean, the Lakers won that game in the third quarter. They forced, I think, 12 total turnovers on the Rockets, and 8 of them or 7 of them were KD or something like that. So I do think it's going to be a good series. A lot of people are obviously rooting for the Rockets, or thinking that the Rockets are going to win for obvious reasons. I mean, it's a 41-year-old LeBron James with no Luka, no Reeves, two of the three best players out. I think that watching LeBron James at last week of the season, I think he's got one more carry job in him. I think this is if he's gonna do it, if he's gonna solidify his GOAT case. I already think he's the GOAT. My Logan obviously does too, but if he's gonna really solidify, I know I talked to a lot of people who said that if he's able to win the series at 41, he's the GOAT. I think if he's able to do it, there's just no debate. I wouldn't even be willing to argue at that point because we've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, I don't think this series is close. I am a Rockets fan, so trying to keep bias out of it as much as I can. But, you just take a look at this Lakers squad, and it revolves around Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves is one hell of a second option. And when you take those two off the court, outside of LeBron, a 41-year-old LeBron James, who is going to score the ball for this Lakers team? They're probably going to have to put up, 110, I'd say, to beat this Rockets team. I know this is two very solid defensive teams. The total for game one is only 207, which has to be the lowest I would predict out of
I
any of the
think
first round
it is.
games.
I think it is. Could be wrong.
I The Pistons are a great defense as well, but these two teams defensively are very well rounded. The Rockets are the best in the entire NBA in rebounding. They average about 49 rebounds a game, which is number one. Um, I think the Rockets win this series in 5 games. They're minus 600 to win the series, which I mean that's probably around 80%, 85%. Um, if Luka Doncic does come back, I think it's going to be too late. I don't think the Lakers get this to 6. And even if it does get to 6, he's going to be questionable. He's going to not be 100%. I know Austin Reeves is going to be out the entire series. The thing is with Luka, he could come back towards the last few games of the series, but even with that question mark, I think Houston's just a better team. Kevin Durant had a great season. Alfred Sengun is obviously one of the best centers in the NBA. I mean, he can play make. He can even shoot the three ball. And then you have shooters. Tari Eason is not horrible. I know he's been bad lately, but he's a very, very good defensive player. Obviously, you have Jabari Smith who can shoot the three ball, and Amen Thompson is one of the best defenders in the league. And I just think the Rockets are a little too much for LA here. I mean, if the Lakers are healthy, it's a totally different conversation. It's a totally different conversation. But
The Lakers in four. Lakers in four if they're healthy.
okay. So yeah, so outside LeBron James, I mean, who is the second option on this team?
Bronny.
Right, we're gonna be seeing Bronny playoff minutes. So, I mean,
I mean, he's better than Jake
maybe
LaRavia. Jake LaRavia is a
yeah,
terrorist. That dude is probably one of the worst thing that's ever happened to the Lakers. I'm serious. That dude is trash. Jake LaRivia is
Maybe
garbage.
maybe Luke Kennard can get you 15. I mean, maybe Rui can get you 15, but you look at this roster, you need to find 110 points somewhere. I know even if LeBron gives you 35, which I don't think he even averages 30 in this series.
That's
Um,
crazy.
I I
I don't
don't
know.
think they get
I don't know why he wouldn't score 30. He's the preliminary scorer on his team at this point, right? There's no reason why he wouldn't. I mean, he's gonna take 20 to 24 shots a game. I don't see
He's
why
also
he
going to have to
wouldn't get.
play 40 minutes a game in this series, and we haven't seen 40 minutes from LeBron James. I don't think in quite some time. I mean, if I just take a look
He
at his
played
game
42
log,
against the Nuggets, I think, or 43 against the Nuggets. Couple weeks
he
ago.
let's see, he
I
played
think
39 at Dallas, 39.
he played
Uh,
40
they,
something like at home
yeah,
against the
the
Nuggets.
Denver game went to overtime, so that's why
Yeah.
he played 40.
He's
But
definitely capable. He's conditioned enough to play 40 minutes. I know he's old, but I don't think minutes are going to be an issue for him.
right. I just you got to find 110 somehow. I think in order to beat this Rockets team. Uh, the Rockets have multiple guys that can get 20. And obviously, Kevin Durant can probably go out there and get 25, I'd say.
30. Easy.
Yeah, maybe 30 on a couple games. But, I mean, to wrap this series up, I know I've been rambling for a little bit. I just think the injuries are just. It was a terrible, terrible break for the Lakers. I mean, Luka Doncic was in that OKC game. They were down by 30 points, and Luka Doncic was in the game, and he gets hurt and probably ends their season, which, JJ Redick, that's a questionable decision there to leave Luka Doncic in that game.
I
So,
don't think it's that questionable of a decision actually, if you really think about it, because I think it was more or less so that they were trying to find a rhythm and then they were trying to see what would work because they knew they were gonna have to play OKC at some point again in the playoffs. So I think it was more of a trying to figure out what works for the team. I know it was kind of late, 30 points, but I don't think they were playing to win the game. I think they were trying to figure out how to beat OKC, which is why they had their starters in and just ended up backfiring.
yeah. Tough break for LA. I think the Rockets get it done in 5. I think the Lakers probably get one at home. I'd say you have a vintage LeBron night, or someone hits a clutch shot down the stretch and steals one. But the Rockets are just a better without Luca and AR. The Rockets are just a lot more well-rounded, and they have a lot more ways to win. So, um, I believe their odds of -600 is, I think it's the third highest outside of San Antonio and OKC. I think the Pistons might be right up there with the Rockets in odds, but I mean, I'm going to take the Rockets in 5. I know you take the Lakers. Um, but
I'm taking the Lakers in 6, 4-2.
moving on to the next series, we're going to have Denver and Minnesota. Now, this has been kind of a rivalry over the last few years. Both of these teams have had really good playoff series before. I believe they met in the last 2 playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Obviously, Denver won in 23, right? They beat
Yes.
Minnesota. And I think they met last year as well in the second round, or it might have been.
Let me check actually. I'm not sure.
I know they met again. Um, but
Nuggets.
I think Denver overall is a better team. I would trust Nikola Jokic and this Denver team more than the Timberwolves. I know the Timberwolves have been kind of dealing with some injuries lately, but I trust the MVP in this series. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the Timberwolves can definitely snag 2 games in this series for sure. Minnesota's always going to be kind of a tough out in the playoffs. This team is very good defensively. They've got guys that can score the ball. Rudy Gobert, former Defensive Player of the Year. Um, Jaden McDaniels is a great defender. And then Anthony Edwards, who is arguably a top, 5 player in the league. So,
Yeah,
um,
Wolves beat the Nuggets 4-3. If you remember, it was with the Rudy Gobert um
fadeaway.
fadeaway, yeah, on
Right.
Jokic, I think.
So, I think Anthony Edwards probably carries the Timberwolves to 2 games in this series, but I'm ultimately going to take Denver in 6. I think they're just a better shooting team, and I think when you have Nikola Jokic on your team, he's gonna give you arguably a triple double in every single game in this series, which ultimately I think it's gonna be a little bit too much for the Timberwolves. But I also would not be surprised if this does go seven and Minnesota does challenge them to seven. But I think Denver is just the better team, and I'm gonna take them to win in six.
Yeah, I'm taking Denver in five actually. Uh, Anthony Edwards is a little hurt right now. I don't really see him really being able to carry this team. Uh, because the Nuggets are good, right? And we already know what Jamal Murray can do in the playoffs. I've experienced this firsthand, back to back years against the Lakers when Jamal Murray was hitting just circus shots that I've never seen him hit in the regular season, unless he's playing the Lakers. Because whenever he plays the Lakers, he'll do the craziest stuff. But um, I'm taking Nuggets in five. I do think the Timberwolves actually take a game in Denver. I think the Wolves win game two.
All right.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Spurs and the Trailblazers, which is the last series in the Western Conference. This is an easy one for me. I'm taking San Antonio in four, along with OKC. I think the Trailblazers really shouldn't be in this spot. I thought Phoenix was way better than them in the plan. They came back and won the game. Obviously, Denny Advia scored 40 in that game. I don't think he really gives you close to that against San Antonio, which is a much better defense and overall a completely better roster than Phoenix right now. I think the Spurs, top to bottom, are the second favorite to win the finals outside of OKC. Obviously, Victor Wembanyama is an unbelievable talent, and I think he's going to be hungry in this series. Obviously, it's his first playoff series, so I really do think that he's going to be hungry from the opening tip. And I think the Spurs definitely win this in four. I mean, if Portland somehow finds a way to win a game in this series, maybe Denny Avdia scores another 35 bomb or something like that. Maybe they steal one, but I mean, you look at the spread in this game one, it's 10.5 to San Antonio, which is a huge number, especially in the playoffs. I just think their guard play is very, very good in Devin Vassell, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle. I mean, those are three very talented guards. And then obviously Wemby. It's too much for Portland. Give me the Spurs in four, and I think they do win these four games very convincingly. Um, and I'll take them to win.
I'm gonna go Spurs in four as well. I think the Trailblazers do keep it close in the first. I think they do keep it close in game one. I think it's just kind of both teams kind of feeling it out here. I do think the Spurs will win game one. I just think that the closest game score wise will be game one. I think games two, three, and four, the Spurs are just gonna dismantle the Trailblazers. I mean, I would be I'd be shocked. I'd actually be more shocked if OKC lost the game than if the Thunder lost the game because I do think that the Warriors and the Suns are a better team than the Trailblazers, especially since they're without their, I mean, arguably their best player in Dame Lillard. So I, there's not really much I can say. I don't really think this is a difficult series at all for the Spurs.
Yeah.
But moving on to the Eastern Conference, we got Pistons, and at the time of this recording, the Magic or Hornets have not played yet. Um, I think they're gonna go against the Magic. I also want them to go against the Magic. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with the controversy that's been going on around LaMelo Ball, but there's a lot of allegations, and they obviously got proven to be true since he got fined for it from the NBA. That he purposefully tripped Bam Adebayo, and you kind of look at the way that game went. I mean, if they call that a flagrant two during the game, LaMelo's out for the game. Bam gets to shoot two free throws, plus he stays in the game. The Heat only lost by 1 point. I mean, that could have meant everything to the Heat because I definitely think the Heat are better than the Magic. So I think that the Heat were kind of robbed of an opportunity at a playoff. I don't think that they were going to beat the Pistons, but I mean, nonetheless, it's an opportunity that was kind of taken away unfair. So at least for the rest of this year, I will not be rooting for the Hornets at all. I just feel like it's just kind of sad how things played out, and like I feel like at least if they weren't able to say that LaMelo Ball was guilty for say in the game, they should have at least suspended him for this one. The NBA has not made that suspicion. I do get why. I mean, this is your superstar player on a team. He brings in a lot of money, so I get the case, but I'm gonna go. Going back to the series, if the Pistons do go against the Magic, like I'm predicting, I do think the Pistons will win it in five. Cade Cunningham is back. He's obviously going to be a little bit rusty since he was out for a little bit, but I'm going to go Pistons in five. I do think the Magic take a game at home, um, because I feel like normally teams like that just kind of explode for one game, and then after that they're going to get blown out. The rest, the other four.
Yeah. Um, I definitely see your point there. I think the Hornets do beat Orlando in this final game here. I just think the Hornets are a little bit of a better team than Orlando, and plus you're dealing with that Franz Wagner injury, who he was actually limited against the Sixers the other night. So the Magic didn't get 100% from him. I don't think they'll get 100% from him against uh, Charlotte, and they also needed like 35 from Desmond Bain, and they still lost against the 76ers, who aren't great. So I think Charlotte does squeak by Orlando here and gets the opportunity to play Detroit. And I actually think they get to game six in this game.
Wow.
I think Charlotte has one of the best futures in the NBA, with LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Con Kneppel, who's arguably Rookie of the Year. I know Cooper Flag most likely win the award, but it's pretty tight. I mean, you talk about a guy that almost led the who led the NBA in 3 pointers in Con Kneppel. So, I think Charlotte does find a way to win 2 games against this Pistons team, who's not used to this kind of stage. I know, they pushed the Knicks last year in the first round. Um, but I do think they lost that series. Was it 7?
Which one?
The Knicks and the
Last year?
Pistons last year. Yeah.
I think it was six. I can check. Take a look.
It was something like that. But I don't think Detroit is used to this much pressure. So I do think that causes a little bit of a problem with them. But I do think they win the series in 6. I think Jalen Duren is one of the best rebounders in the NBA.
Are you talking about the Hornets playing in the playoffs last season?
None of the Pistons.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute.
No.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah. I think Cade Cunningham is one of the best point guards in the NBA.
They lost in
And I do
six.
think 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we saw a little bit from the Pistons last year in the playoffs. But I do think Charlotte does find a way to get 2. I think they're talented enough to get 2 off this Pistons team. The only way I could see the Pistons, sweeping them or winning in 5 is if, Lamelo goes like 5 for 20 or Khan goes 1 for 9 or something like that. But I'll take the Pistons in 6 there. Um, Moving on to the next series here, we have the Cavs and the Raptors. Now, Raptors as a 5 seed is very surprising. I mean, I know at the beginning of the season, I definitely did not expect this Raptors team to be a 5 seed in the playoff. Um, but I think this one's easy for me. I'm going to take the Cavs in 5. I just think their experience is just what's going to get it done here. I mean, James Harden has made the playoffs every single year of his NBA career. Donovan Mitchell has obviously played on some of the biggest stages. And then the entire Cavs roster really just has experience. I know Max Strus has a lot of experience from his days with the Heat. They made a finals run that year. Um, Jared Allen has played in multiple playoff series before. Uh, who else do they have? They have a couple of young guys. Obviously, Jalen Tyson is very young. He does not have any playoff experience. Um, but I do think that experience is going to lead this Cavs team to a 5 game series here with the Raptors. I just, obviously a lot of respect to the Raptors for what they've done this year. Scotty Barnes is going to be a hell of a player. He already is a hell of a player. But RJ Barrett, Barnes, they don't necessarily have the playoff experience, and they have not really played under this much pressure before. I know RJ Barrett has played in a Elite Eight before against Michigan State back in 2019, but nothing really compares to the NBA playoffs. So give me the Cavs in 5. I think Donovan Mitchell and James Harden do enough to convincingly win this series against Toronto.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing here. I do think Cavs in five. I know it's been kind of repetitive these last couple picks, but I think that this series right here is probably going to be the least entertaining series out of the other seven. I'm not saying that it's going to be a bad series, but I just don't think it's going to be that great. I there's going to be a lot of blowouts. I mean, I was between this one and the Spurs one, but I think it's just kind of exciting watching the Spurs. The Cavs aren't that exciting to watch. They're just kind of like your generic great team, but um, and I don't think the Raptors are built to kind of go toe to toe with Cleveland game after game after game after game. Now, they can win one for sure, but it takes a whole other animal to just continuously just try and try and try. I just don't think the Raptors are good enough. Not this season. They did surprise me. I did not think that they were going to be a 5 seed at all. Um, but I just don't think the Raptors are good enough to hang with the Cavaliers. Especially since the first two games are in Cleveland. I don't have that much faith in the Raptors. But moving on to the next game, I do know a lot of Knicks fans, so I know they're going to be excited to hear this one. Knicks versus Hawks. I do have the Knicks winning this series in six. I do think the Hawks, after they got rid of Trey Young, who technically was their best player, they've only gotten better. I mean, I don't know how. Well, I know exactly how, but I mean, they've been playing phenomenal, right? They're a young team. They play fast. They get up and down the court. They're good at controlling the pace of the game. Meanwhile, we go to the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks are a great team. Post as soon as Jalen Brunson basically changed the Knicks franchise. I feel like because he made them relevant again. I know they had Melo and they were kind of relevant for a small amount of time, or but they haven't been this good, right? And it's kind of upsetting to see the Knicks kind of choke in the playoffs every year. But I don't think even if they wanted to, they could try and choke this series. I don't think the Hawks are as good as the Knicks. I think the Knicks are a very deep team as well. Um, I don't think the Hawks are a really deep team aside from their six to seven like best or 6 to 7 players that they have. The Knicks are like 8, 9 players deep, right? So I think the Knicks do win the series. I think the games aren't going to be close when the Knicks win. I just think the Hawks are just going to win 2 games. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just feel like the Hawks are since they're such a fast paced team. I think they can pull off a game or two. I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks swept them either, but realistically, I think it's going to be 4-2 Knicks.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Knicks win this one in six as well. Um, I just think Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns just are a little bit too much for Atlanta. I know Jalen Johnson has had an incredible season. I mean, this guy definitely would be my pick to win Most Improved Player this year. If I was in charge of the award, I mean, this guy is, he puts up numbers like Jokic, maybe just not as much scoring. But Jalen Johnson has had a fantastic season. I mean, he put up 22 and a half, 10 and 8, which is, really, really good. Um, but I just think the Knicks have a lot more experience than this Atlanta team. I know one thing that's very important in the NBA playoffs is experience. And when you take a look at some of these young teams like Atlanta, Toronto, um, they don't really have the time in the playoffs to get used to this stage. And the Knicks kind of do have that. Karl Anthony Towns has made the playoffs a lot. Jalen Brunson has been in the playoffs a lot. Mikal Bridges made an NBA Finals. So I just think that experience, just like the Cavs series, is going to be a little bit too much for Atlanta. But I mean, don't get me wrong. This Atlanta team has definitely had a great season. They were 46 and 36. That's a really solid record. And yeah, you made a good point. Ever since they did trade away Trey Young, they've gotten a lot better. Um, Dyson Daniels is really good, and then CJ McCollum is super solid as well. So, I do have Atlanta taking 2 games in this series. I do think they kind of win one at home, and I think they also win one in New York down the stretch. So, but ultimately, I do think the Knicks win this series, and hopefully, this team can get past that hump and finally make an NBA Finals appearance, which I know a lot of Knicks fans have been waiting for that. Maybe they have the team this year. I know it's going to be real tough getting past Boston and Detroit, but I think they get the job done here in 6 games against Atlanta.
Yeah,
Um,
one thing I wanted to bring up about the Knicks is if they are somehow able to make it out of the Eastern Conference, it's definitely a possibility because I don't think the East is as good as the West is this year. I don't think the Knicks are winning the NBA Finals even if they get there. I'm not taking them over the Thunder. I'm not taking them over the Spurs. I'm not taking them over the Nuggets. I'm not taking them over the Lakers, Rockets, or Wolves. There's six teams. I'm not taking them over on the West side of things. Because I like here's the thing: if the Rockets make it, that means they're playing great basketball, right? Because then they would have to beat the Spurs and the Thunder. Same thing with the Lakers because they'd be at. Because I'm really confident if the Lakers were able to make the championship game, they'd have their full lineup because there's no way they're beating the Thunder or the Spurs without being 100% healthy. And I think the Lakers are a lot better than the Knicks. I think, well, basically almost all the teams in the West are better than the Knicks. I don't think an Eastern Conference team is going to be winning an NBA Finals actually for the next couple of years. It's kind of
Wow.
a hot take, but I mean, there's look at the amount of talent. I mean, the Nuggets, the Spurs, they'd be a number one seed almost any other year, and they're second because there's a team that arguably is better. But then you look at the Spurs' record against the Thunder, and I think the Spurs are up 3-1 or something. So, anyways, moving on to the final game in the Eastern Conference, which I think will be the best game in the Eastern Conference. We got the Celtics versus the Joel Embiid-less 76ers. Um, the Celtics last year were trying to. Was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. Um, they're trying to go win a chip. They had a they were pretty decent last year. I think they went against the Knicks, if I'm not wrong, in the playoffs where they lost. They obviously lost Jason Tatum, which is, I mean, a player like Jason Tatum you can't replace. So as soon as they lost them, Boston was done. I mean, I believe they were down 3-1 at that point, anyways. But now they kind of have an opportunity to kind of fix that wrong, right? I think the Celtics go in, well, they're home first, but I don't think the Celtics lose a game to the 76ers, but I do think that every game is decided by 7 points or less.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, the Sixers definitely played pretty solid the other night against Orlando, and Tyrese Maxey is definitely one of those players that can kind of take over a game late. But Boston, especially with Jason Tatum back, they were good before Jason Tatum got back, and now he's back, and this one is Celtics in five for me. I do think we do get kind of that Tyrese Maxey takeover game. Probably in Philadelphia for one of them, maybe game three or four. But other than that, I just think Boston is too much for Philly. The combination of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum has proved to be one of the best duos in basketball. So, and then their extracurricular players are also really good too, like uh,
Derek White.
Eric White, and I know the Kita guy. I'm not really sure what his first name is, but
I know
he
his.
he's been very. I know he went to Nevada, I think, but he has been very good for them as well. And I just think Joe Mazzulla has NBA Finals experience, and this Celtics team is definitely one of my. Or I'm sorry, he went to Utah State. I got the colors mixed up there. Um, but Joe Mazzulla obviously has a lot of playoff experience, and I just think the Sixers are just not good enough to beat the Celtics. I would be surprised if they win two games in this series. But now that Jason Tatum is back and playing, and obviously Jaylen Brown is an All NBA player, I just think the Celtics are. If there's a year the Celtics can win it again, I think this is one of those years. Uh, I do think this team is the best team in the Eastern Conference, and I don't think they have a problem with Philadelphia. So I'll take the Celtics in five. I mean, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum probably combined for 60 a game in this series. So I think the Celtics definitely win this one in five. And I also wouldn't be surprised if they win it in four as well.
Okay. So that does wrap it up for our first round predictions. Logan, I do want to ask you one quick question. What do you think will be the highest scoring? I don't want to say series, but what do you think will be the high scoring game between two teams, and what do you think will be the lowest scoring game between two teams? And you have like the whole series to pick one.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's Nuggets Timberwolves. I think Denver's offense is probably the best or the second best offense in the entire NBA. And then, of course, the Timberwolves can also push the pace with them as well. And I also do think one of these games definitely goes to overtime. So I'll take the Nuggets and the Timberwolves for the highest scoring. And then lowest scoring, I do think it is going to be Rockets Lakers.
That's what I was
Um,
thinking.
just because these defenses are very good, and both of these teams really, really are going to lack some guard play in this series. I know Amen Thompson can be a point guard, but without Fred Van Fleet, this Rockets team really does kind of lack guard play. And then obviously missing Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic is huge for the Lakers. Their guards are going to be Marcus Smart and Bronny James. So,
Well,
um,
I think they'll just have LeBron play point guard,
yeah,
like at
LeBron
least.
can play guard. Um, but the guard position is really where the offenses kind of operate. And without, you know, quality talent at those, I know LeBron can play point guard, but he's not a true point guard. So I think without those kind of players in this series, it's going to be a slower paced rebounding battle kind of game. Um, and I do think the if a team scores 105 in any of these games, I think they definitely have a good shot at winning the game. So I'll take this series as the lowest. I know the line for game one is 207, which is extremely
Pretty
low.
low.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll take that one as the lowest total game series.
Yeah, so I do agree with you on the Lakers and Rockets being the lowest scoring game, or at least a particular game in the series. But my high scoring game is actually probably going to surprise you a little bit. I think, and this is making an assumption, I think if the Warriors are able to make it as the eighth seed, I think them and the Thunders will have the high scoring game. Uh, I know it's kind of sounds stupid, but just the way, like, I feel like the Warriors, I mean obviously it's led by Steph Curry, but when they catch fire they get really really hot, like really hot. And we just saw it last night. I mean, they won what, I think they went for like 7 of 9 from three with like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's unheard of, it's crazy. And I think if they're able to kind of muster that up a game or two, I think both teams can get up to I think the 130s, which is pretty high, but I think it's definitely possible. Because if the Warriors want to win, I think they're gonna have to score at least 120, 125.
You think that Warriors team is going to score 120 against the Thunder?
One time in the series. Not, I don't. It's
That's
just
kind of
one game.
crazy. I think they don't even reach 110 in any game.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I think OKC's defense is it's the best defense in the league, and outside of Curry, this Warriors team kind of has a hard time, finding guys that can score. I mean, I don't know, they probably get 110 at least one game, but
I think
I'd
they
be
get to
really
120.
really
I think they get
surprised
to at
if they
least
get
120 one
120.
time. 120, I think. If they want to win a game, they're gonna have to get to 120. I don't think OKC
Absolutely,
scored
yeah,
less than that.
absolutely.
So since I have them winning a game, I have to go that they're gonna get to 120. It makes sense.
Yeah, you could have a Curry takeover game or something
Yeah,
like
because
that.
it only takes one. I mean, if he drops like a 50 piece, um, I mean they're in it. He gets 70 from 8 other guys. I mean,
Yeah,
technically it's flip, so like 6 other guys. It's not
yeah, that
crazy.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's gonna do it for our NBA first round playoff preview. I know we said we were gonna go over the entire bracket, but this video's gotten kind of long, so we'll make another video once the first round series are over, um, and then we'll continue out for the rest of the playoffs in that video. So if you guys enjoyed this preview video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel, um, and also comment down below who you think is going to win each series, and we'll look forward to reading those. But other than that, if you don't have anything else regarding these first round series, that'll do it, and we'll see you guys in our next video.